So I was talking about Road to the Horse. So of course, each competitor has a colt that hasn't basically has not been handled. And what I saw in your little guy was very kind of flighty. And so you can correct me in a moment if I'm wrong, if I'm incorrect from your perspective. Pretty flighty and not trusting and very like, okay, if it's going good now, that's cool, but it's not going to take much for me to flip the switch to go the other way. And so I really admired how you handled that cold. And so now you take it away.
Well, first of all, thank you. And thank you to anybody who supported us and sent their love and their well wishes. It was an exceptional experience. I would not have changed one thing. And I'm really grateful that I was able to be in that situation and position and that platform to showcase what to do in a really bad situation if and when things kind of unravel, which is exactly what happened to me that weekend. And as you know, things went really well the first 2 rounds. And I made a promise to myself, being invited to come to Road to the Horse. And that was, if I'm going to go, I want to authentically be Wylene and who Wylene is. And so stepping into that round pen, I literally became part of that round pen. Nothing else existed around me. I was with my horse, connected to my horse. That all felt really good, that first round. The second round, I noticed a couple little triggers where he was a little bit fractious and couldn't handle the pressure. And as you saw, he kind of triggered when my sister had moved those noodles. And then it was like he unraveled a little bit. And by that third round, I had set the goal and the intention that I wanted to have a really smooth run through the obstacle course and that I wanted to be standing on the number 10 obstacle. That was my goal. And as I stepped into the round pen on that third day, I noticed that he was completely disconnected and aloof and was not even, his mind had left the building. It went right down the alleyway with the remainder of those saddle horses from 4-6s. And I thought, you know what? Okay, this is just life. This is reality. This happens. This is colt starting. There's a lot of pressure. And now he's alone in the arena by himself. And to gather his mind and bring it back to me that was a big time feat. And I felt it and I knew that I was going to have a struggle. Now, the quick side backstory is this. They made the announcement that I forgot my rope. I don't even know if you know the story. I think you know a little bit of it. But when I did the initial, I had to have an inspection with the judges at 8 a.m. that morning with all of my equipment. They went through everything I had. That morning at 8 a.m., my rope was dallied off to my saddle, 8 a.m. They gave me the thumbs up. They put me and my sister on a golf cart and they whisked us away and they put us in a sequestered room where we couldn't hear or see the event that was going on. 2.5 hours later, they tapped me on the shoulder, mic'd me up. I ran down the alley. So my last recollection of my equipment was I had everything. So imagine my surprise when I get there and my horse is like, hi, I don't want to be here. I would like to leave and go down the alley with the rest of those horses. You're not riding me and you're not going to catch me. So you have to, from that point of view, I went, okay, Wylene, this is your opportunity to show what you would do in a very, very tough situation. And that is to never stop, to never quit. As difficult and as frustrating as that was, I still smiled. I still took my time. And I said, you know what? It might not be his day today. And it wasn't. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, once I got in, I actually caught him. And then everything kind of unraveled. I kept saying, okay. I ran out of the 20 minutes that I was allotted for that third round. Then I was now tying into my fourth round, which is where I was supposed to be out on the rail. And then I still had the obstacles. And so as for those who were watching the competition, it didn't go as planned. However,
wait, Wylene, I just want to interject just so people understand. In the final 2 rounds that are back to back, the Colts brought in and the competitor has to catch the colt. And
Yes.
that's what happened with Wylene, is that she had a rope. She thought she had a rope on her saddle as a backup in case the horse, her colt, came in wiry, which he did, but then she didn't have the rope. That's the significance of the rope. So she
Right.
spent all this time, which she had to, I mean, there was no other option, trying to figure out how to catch him.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
No, I'm glad you clarified. Thank you.
So that in case people are not familiar with Road to the Horse.
Right.
So.
And so I ran out of that time. And so I think the announcers looked at the judges and everyone's like, what do we do? And they said, well, if you don't catch him, you're immediately going to go into that 35-minute window that you have to do your rail work and your obstacle course. And so all that warm-up time that I wanted to spend with my rope preparing him for the finals, I didn't have. I spent 18 minutes trying to catch him. And I was trying to be gentle and sweet and work with him, but he was completely disconnected. So once I finally got my rope, they told me if I used it, that I would be penalized. So once the rope was found and brought to me, then I said, you know what? I've got to get him caught. I'm willing to lose the whole competition, but this is about the principal fact of helping this horse and giving him a really great experience. So once I roped him and got a hold of him, I could tell he was a little bit, he wasn't with me. And then when I got on him, he was tight. And these were all the things I wanted to do in that 20-minute window. But in true Wylene fashion, I never held my head down. I just held my head up and I said, you know what? This is a wonderful opportunity for me to show everyone that even if things don't go as you plan, that doesn't mean you have to give up. And you sure don't have to quit. And so I think for me, that all happened for me, not to me. And that was my opportunity to really shine and to say, sometimes you don't win, but there's always another opportunity. And for that specific horse, he was pretty fractious, like you said. I mean, he was a tough colt. The reason I picked him is because I knew he would go through the obstacle course. I don't know how I knew it. I just felt like those running bred horses are more apt to move forward. And so as he went through and I finally got on him, now here's the story that a lot of people don't know. Once I was in the arena and I was on the rail and I had already walked trot cantered him. As I came around the corner, he was in the left lead going right. I asked him to change leads. He did. I came around the corner. There was a young man who was changing a trash liner, like a trash can liner that made it.
Like on the other side of the fence.
I am out of here. And that's when he ducked back, jumped the tarp, took off bucking and running. And as the announcer said, Wylene, I think you outran the rodeo guys last night in the saddle bronc riding. And you know what? I can laugh at that because that's part of horsemanship. We come off. And luckily I wasn't injured. And luckily I still got back on. And in a way I was chuckling about it, but deep down I was crying on the inside because
I was watching going, oh my gosh, but you're rooting for people, you're rooting for the horse and you're rooting for the competitors. You know, you're wanting everything to work out well. And it was such a lot of, you know, like nothing was, I can't say nothing, but you know, it was a tough thing.
It did unravel pretty quickly. And, you know, the support and the love that I felt and shared with people, I laughed and cried with so many, and just the outpouring of love was worth it. And you know what? I just have to say it out loud. I wouldn't have changed one thing. I loved it. I did. I was proud of my horse. I was proud of me for all the things we went through. I still was smiling at the end. And when I worked my way after falling off, like in getting bucked off, the reason I got bucked off is because I didn't have my foot in my left stirrup. So when he stopped, I just came off. I kind of went over the dash, you know?
Yeah, you definitely went forward.
I never let go of my rein. And then as I got back on him, I just said, unfortunately for you, Clay, we're still going to go through it. I'm not quitting. because you deserve to be shown and you deserve to have this experience. And I'm not going to back off. I really want you to go through this because I knew he could do it. When I looked up and saw that there was like 8 minutes left, 7:49 to go through the obstacle course, my initial thought was, we can do this. I don't know how I knew that. I just was like, let's go show him that you're still in this. Like, let's go. And he surprised me. I got to tell you, I walked out of there going, I can't believe he just moseyed and worked through every obstacle like it wasn't even there. And I was so proud of him.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finished up with the round pin and shutting the gate, and then I had to hoist up the little pulley to create the sail, that was a tough one. I thought for sure he'd blow up and run away, and he didn't. I was able to see the strengths in this horse that I was trying to shed light on. When he walked onto that number 10 obstacle, it was everything I had not to just start bawling right there. But I felt so grateful and so humble and thankful and so at peace there that's why if you go back and watch the video, I just put my hand on my heart and I went, I'm proud. I did it. I did it. I wouldn't one thing. And I feel good. I sleep at night. I was grateful.